attendance, making sure you put in your attendance. It's going to be a good way for us to check in on attendance in general if people just have their names in the chat as a good record of attendance. So please make sure you guys are doing that. Please put your name in the chat, okay? So we have a lot to kind of go over today. We have a lot of new things I have to announce, unfortunately, about attendance policy and we have a town hall today at 1 p.m. So don't forget that. That's already been linked in your class. So at 1 p.m., so just a half hour after this class, the town hall will begin. If you've never been to a town hall before for Academy of Hope, this is a good way for you to get some things off of your chest about how things have been going so far with this new online environment. So it's a good idea to go ahead and check in with that town hall and to let people know how you're feeling about how school is going. I know that a lot of you might not be able to make it because things might be happening for you at 1 o'clock, but if you can make it, please do go to the town hall today at 1 p.m. All right, so go ahead. First things first is to make sure you put your name in the chat. I'm going to do that every morning from now on. Next thing is to make sure you are logged into Schoology. If you're in full screen mode right now with Zoom, just make sure you click in Zoom, hit escape so that you're no longer in full screen mode. Go to Chrome and open up your Schoology because what I need you to do first and foremost after you putting your name in the chat is to complete the pre-assessment in under week 2. So let me go ahead, excuse me. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you, the other screen with you, so that we are in week 2. Make sure you guys are in week 2 and going to ordering rational numbers pre-assessment and go ahead and take that pre-assessment right now. Okay, so go into week 2 under your Math Skills 5 course. Under week 2, ordering rational numbers pre-assessment. Please do that pre-assessment right now, in this moment. All right, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to do that pre-assessment. So please log in and do that pre-assessment now. Okay, so make sure you guys are logged into Schoology, into Math Skills 5 with me, week 2 folder, September 21st to 25th, week 2, and doing that first thing that's listed there, which is the ordering rational numbers pre-assessment. Please make sure you guys do that. Let me know if you can't get in. All right, thank you all so much for doing that. As you guys wrap up, I'm just gonna go back to this screen really quick to show you guys the rest of the agenda. So these are the things we need to go over today. We're gonna go over our new attendance policy. We're gonna look at the order in which we do our work. And then we're gonna review this question here and then do a discussion post as well before we get into our notes for today. Okay, all right, so let's go back to Schoology. All right, so every week the work is gonna be posted similar to this. We might not have a pre-assessment every single week, but the weeks that there are a pre-assessment, it's gonna be listed first. And I just want you guys to see that you guys should be doing the work in the order that it's posted, right? So you should start with the pre-assessment, then do the discussion question, and then move on to the other things and always end with the exit ticket. So a couple people have been doing the exit ticket first. I don't know why, maybe because it's like easier and it's shorter, but the exit ticket should be last because the practices should prepare you to do the exit ticket. All right. So for this week, you will notice that I've added dates and times to the assignments. And the reason I've done that is because the DC government is not like how we've been doing attendance. Like I've just been giving you guys attendance if you do work for the week. For that 1 o'clock class, that 1 o'clock time period class, I've been giving you all attendance. If you do work anytime during the week, I'll just go back in and put in attendance for that. They do not like that, apparently. So they need to have a specific record of when the work was done. So you'll notice that I have indicated a time next to everything really for that reason. So the goal is that when you guys do work at a certain time, you will get credit for that work, at least for this week. We don't really have to worry about today, because if you're logged on right now, you're getting your attendance credit for right now. And then to get your attendance credit for 1 o'clock, you just have to attend the town hall, right? The town hall today is at 1, so you guys can't really be doing any other work, technically. But if you can't make the town hall, then you will need to submit your notes. Make sure you submit your completed notes, the notes that we're going to work on in class today. Make sure you complete those notes by 7 o'clock tonight to get credit for that 1 o'clock time period. And that works for me because I stay up late to get things done, so it's fine if you submit your notes till 7 o'clock. Some teachers will tell you that you have to submit your work by 3:30 to get the credit. That's fine. Listen to those teachers, but please understand that for me, you have until 7 o'clock tonight. If it's 7 o'clock every evening that you have work for me due to get it done, and you'll still get credit for that day. Okay, but that's the new attendance policy, is that you have to make sure that we have work from you for every time slot. So for your 11 to 12:30 time slot, this is your attendance, right? Being here in class, that's your attendance. But if you can't make it to class, like if you weren't here, you would just do the work that says 11 to 12:30 to get that attendance for that time period, and then do the work for 1 to 3:30 to get the work for that time period. But again, today you're covered as long as you come to this, and then also subsequently, if you come to the whatchamacallit, the town hall at 1 o'clock. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. So that's what I wanted to go over with you all. I wanted to let you know about the new attendance policy and also the order of your work. Always try to do your work in the order that it's listed. The standards and objectives are not something you need to do, right? That's just a list of information so that you're aware of what the objectives are for each week. So for this week, our goal is to be able for you to order and compare rational numbers and to convert fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions. That's what we're going to be working on this week. Just so you know, that's always going to be listed. There's a handout for you. And this is going to be something that you can use for reference. You don't have to do any work on this. This handout is really just to remind you how to convert from decimals to percents, decimals to fractions, and fractions to decimals. So that's what this handout is. You don't have to worry about doing anything with that handout. It's just notes, essentially additional notes for you. We are going to be working on the comparing rational numbers notes. So do make sure that you have a copy of these ready and open for when we start, because we are going to be using those a little bit later today. Okay, so that's that. And I see some of you are already posting in the discussion question. That's fine. We are going to be answering this discussion question a little bit later today as well, just in like 2 minutes. So if you want to go ahead and start that, that's fine. And we're going to go back to our PowerPoint slide. We're going to do this PowerPoint real quick. Okay. So I went over the pre-assessment. You guys did that. Thank you. The new attendance policy has been covered. Make sure you're doing your work in order from top to bottom. The town hall today is at 1 p.m. So now let's answer this problem here. It says, during a typical 8-hour workday, you spend about 2 hours doing paperwork. Write how much time you spend on paperwork as a fraction and reduce it. Excuse me. I have to go back. Okay. So reduce it. Sorry, there should be a period there. And reduce it. How do you convert the fraction to a decimal? So let me share this again now that I've. Okay, so how do you reduce that fraction? All right, so during a typical 8-hour workday, you spend about 2 hours doing paperwork. Write how much time you spend on paperwork as a fraction and reduce it. So what is that fraction? What does that fraction look like? If I spend 2 hours doing paperwork out of an 8-hour day, what does that fraction look like? Spend about 2 hours doing paperwork. Write how much time you spend on paperwork as a fraction. What does that fraction look like? Any idea?
It's 2 times 8.
Okay, so if I write that as a fraction, I spend 2 hours out of an 8-hour day doing paperwork. So that fraction is going to look like this, 2 out of 8, right? That's my fraction. But this fraction is too big, so I need to reduce it. What's the smallest version of this fraction? 2 out of 8.
1/4.
Good. So 2 out of 8 can be reduced to 1/4. How do I reduce a fraction? What do I need to do to reduce it? In order to reduce a fraction,
Divide 2 into 2.
good. I have to divide both the numerator and the denominator by a common factor. Right? In this case, the greatest common factor between 2 and 8 is 2. 2 divided by 2 gives me 1,
1,
and 8 divided by 2 gives me
4.
4. So the reduced version of 2/8 is 1/4.
1/4.
Good. All right, so now that I have this fraction, how do I convert it to a decimal? How do I convert this fraction to a decimal?
Divide 1/4.
Okay, divide the 1 by the 4. Right, so how many times does 4 go into 1? Well, 4 can't go into 1, so I have to add a decimal.
0.
How many times does 4 go into 10? 2 times, right? 2 times 4 is 8. I have 2 left over. I need to add another 0 and bring it
Bring
down.
it down.
How many times does 4 go into 20?
5.
5 times. Right? So to convert 1/4 into a decimal, I do division, and that is equal to 0.25. Oops, sorry. Let me undo that. 0.25. Remember, if I say this fraction correctly, I say 1/4, I can say a quarter. How many cents is in a quarter? 25 cents. So I should know that conversion without even having to do it, right? Okay. All right, so this is that was your GED warm-up question for today. This is an actual GED test question, right? Involving what we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be looking at how we compare fractions and also how we convert fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions, okay? We're going to be working on that today and this week in general, where we're comparing rational numbers, right? Both fractions and decimals are rational numbers. And they are parts of a whole. So we're working with parts of a whole today. Okay. All right. Let's stop that share. All right, so make sure you guys are back into Schoology and you're looking at this discussion post that we have here. Let me share that screen again. Okay, So on the discussion post, where I need you to put these numbers in order from least to greatest, from smallest to biggest. Which one is the smallest? Which one is the biggest? I'm going to give you just a minute. Go ahead and put it in the discussion post. Again, this is under week 2. It's the second thing that's listed. Put these numbers in order from least to greatest. I know that I saw a couple people have already replied. Go ahead and put in your answers. What are these numbers from least to greatest, from smallest to biggest? Oops, sorry, I switched the screen. These numbers in order from smallest to biggest. All right, let's see. What do we think? From least to greatest, from smallest to biggest. All right, it looks like everybody has their answers in. All right, good. All right, so these numbers are all negative numbers, right? Right, they're all negative, negative 1.2, negative 0.8, negative 1.5. So from least to greatest means I have to put the smallest one first, right? Which number is the smallest?
Negative 0.8.
Why is that one the smallest?
Because you're starting with negative and going to the highest. You
But
got
they're
the
all
zero
negative.
first. You
But they're
got the
all negative.
0 point, but the 8 is the smallest because you got 0.8.
0.8.
On the number line is 0.
Yeah, but 0.8 would be the smallest, right?
Yeah.
If I were working with positive numbers, but I'm working with negative numbers, right?
Uh-huh.
So what's worse, if I owe somebody 80 cents or if I owe somebody $1.50?
80.
It's worse if I owe somebody 80 cents over
Oh
$1.50?
no, 150.
Oh,
Oh man.
so the smallest is
150.
1.5, right?
Oh
And then the
man.
next is 1.2.
1.2.
And then the biggest one is 0.8,
0.8.
right? Remember, when we're working with negatives, right?
It's
The
the
bigger the
highest.
negative number is, the smaller it actually is, right? That means you owe more money. So
I was
I
looking for
owe
my notes.
$1.50, I owe $1.20, I owe 80 cents, okay? So this is the correct order, right? Negative 1.5, then negative 1.2, then negative 0.8. Okay. All right. All right, let's make sure we have our notes open. So let's go ahead and open up your comparing rational numbers notes. We're going to review our notes now. All right, does everybody have their notes open? You guys all ready? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's all follow along as we compare these numbers. So we have 0.3 and 4 over 10, or 4/10. So which number is bigger, 0.3 or 4/10? And how do I know? 0.3 or 4/10. It might help if I knew that another way to say this number instead of saying 0.3. It's another way for me to say this number. What place is that 3 in? The 3 is in what place?
I
What
can
value?
write 3 times 10.
Okay, so this 3 is in the 10th place, right? So this is 3/10. So another way for me to think about this is I can use the name of this place value, right? This 3 is in the 10th place, right? So this is 3/10.
10.
What is this fraction? This fraction is 4 over 10, or also known as 4/10. Right? So that means this 0.3 can be written as 3 over 10.
I can't see.
Can't see? What you mean?
Excuse me, sir, I got one
No, I
question.
got it.
Okay.
I had to click back on the Zoom.
Okay.
I got
that-
one question.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jules.
Yeah, please. I'm a little bit confused.
Okay.
Somebody can say 3 times 10, or is 3 over 10?
Not 3 times 10. This is 3 over 10. Yeah, 3 times 10 would be like this, right? 3 times 10 using multiplication, right? Which would be 30, right? This is 3 over 10, right?
Okay.
3 out of 10 parts. So we can say 3 over 10 or 3 divided by 10. This is a division. Fractions are division, not multiplication. Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, so we have 3/10 and we have 4/10. So which one is bigger?
4/10.
4/10, obviously, right? Good. So now, where does it go on the number line?
In the, on the right hand side.
Over here?
I can't see. Man, I need to move this thing over.
Okay.
Oh, 1. Oh no, or by the 0.
By the 0?
Say
Okay, let's start by putting
1.
something in the middle. What's in the middle? What's in the middle between 0 and 1? What's directly in the middle?
0.5.
Good. 1/2 or 0.5, right? Also known as 1/2. That's in the middle. So now, where are these going to go? We have 3/10 and we have 4/10. Where are they going to go? Are they going
Time
to
I
go?
write on here, the Zoom go off, so I can't see.
Is it going to go on the left-hand side or the right-hand side?
Left.
Left side.
It'll go on the left-hand side over here, right? So our 4/10 is going to be pretty close to the 0.5, right? So we can do here, we can go about 4/10, and then here we can say 3/10. It doesn't matter exactly where it goes because this is just an approximation, but we know it needs to go to the left of half, and that 3/10 should appear before 4/10. Okay, so it should look something like this. That's going to be a good way for you to do that.
How do I make my screen not disappear when I'm writing? Because every time I write on here,
What
my
are you
screen
writing
is-
on? What are you writing on right now?
I'm at Cami.
Okay, and you
I'm
don't
writing on my
you don't
I'm
want
writing
your,
on my notes. Every time I click on it and write, my Zoom disappeared. Then I have to re-click to look to see what y'all doing.
so you would have to make both of your screens fit into one screen. So make them side by side. You have to make them small and do them side by side.
Okay, hold on. Please, this.
And I can show you how to do that. Wait, let me see. It's going to erase all these drawings. So hopefully you guys have them already. but I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to share my desktop with you. There's a lot of things open on my desktop, so stop judging me. Okay, I'm going to share the whole desktop. All right, so on my whole desktop, you guys see everything, right? Right now, you only see the one thing that I have open, but I'm going to make it smaller by dragging.
Okay.
And then I have this on the left, and then I can drag to make this other thing smaller, and then I put it on the right. And that's how you can have the two side by side. Okay, so you can do that for the Zoom screen, and then for your Chrome, so you can have the Cami up and the Zoom up at the same time. Okay.
Yeah, it ain't doing it. I hate this Zoom stuff. I want to go back to class.
Well, we got to make sure we get a vaccine soon. That's what we got to wait for.
Can't do it. I got all this stuff open.
I know that's the worst part. All the stuff you have to have open. I'm tired of it. I have too many things open.
It's not letting me drag it.
So you got to go in the corner. You can only drag it from the corner. You can only make it smaller from the very corner. It'll be and you have to wait for those little arrows to appear, and that's when you know you can drag to make it smaller.
God.
Oh no, it's not working.
See, I dragged the wrong thing because I had all these things open. I had to, oh, man.
How you doing over there, Antoinette? You quiet today. I don't trust the quiet Antoinette. She's probably over there plotting. What you doing, Antoinette? Yep, she's too quiet. She can't even unmute herself yet. That's how quiet she is.
Irritating. Oh my God. Oh man, I don't know. I can't do it. I'm not about to hold up the class to do this.
All right, well, keep trying it. But yeah, go ahead and try it again. But it'll take some time to get used to. But try it because you have to know how to manage both, right? Again, the other option is to only work on the Cami on your laptop, right? And even though you're signed into Zoom here, what you can do is just sign into Zoom also on your phone. So you can watch me on your phone, but then do the work on your laptop. That might work better too.
See, but I don't have what's the name? How to log into Zoom.
Right, so do you have your email on your phone?
Yes.
Because then you should have the link. All you need to do is click the link.
Let me see what your name is. First thing I know. Search. Let's see if this is it. Oh, I think I got it.
All right. Just make sure you keep your phone on mute. You don't hear the feedback because you don't want to hear both sounds.
Right.
Let me just redraw everything I had before. Okay, so all I did was, the first thing I decided to do was make sure that I broke up, well, I looked at both my rational numbers and I had 0.3 and 4/10. And I realized that my 0.3 was the same as 3/10, right? So that helped me to decide that I knew that the 3 was going to come before the 4, And I know that I needed to just make sure I can break up my number line into two parts, right? And by putting 1/2 here in the middle, or 0.5, right? I knew that they both needed to appear on the left side of that. Okay, so that helped me to break it up. And then I knew that I was gonna put 4/10 closer to the 0.5 than 3/10. And then that's how I was able to mark these out on this number line, okay?
You gonna let me in, Mr. G?
Oh, I gotta let you in? I didn't let you in?
No.
It didn't tell me to let you in. You sure you got the right link?
735
Mm-mm.
735 783 52471. Level 5 meeting.
Ah, I know what's happening. Okay, yes, give me a second.
Okay. Sorry, class.
Okay, I need to move this. Okay, and I need to sign in. Okay. Okay. Try one more time, Tisha, because it's not, you're not showing up as a participant yet.
Okay. You know. What's the number?
749
749.
0719 7483.
What's the code?
Uh, uh, uh. 7QVY WB.
WE.
WB as in boy.
Oh, WB.
Mhm.
7Q V
7QVY WB.
7Q V Y WB.
Yep.
Who said I'm doing it wrong?
QVY needs to be all caps.
Oh,
And the,
7
yeah, and the B
Q
should be caps too.
7
Q
cap Q.
cap V
Oh, cap V.
cap Y.
Cap Y.
W regular W
Regular
cap B.
W. Cap B.
There it is.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you
You
all.
can't hear me over here, right?
No, I can't hear you in that one. Nope.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right, good. You're good to go. All right, so here we are. So so those are the steps that I took. I looked at both my rational numbers. I decided how I was going to break up my number line by putting the half in the middle, and then knowing that 3/10 and 4/10 need to come before my half. And that's how I plotted them, okay? And I know which one number is bigger, right? I know that 4/10 is bigger than 0.3, okay? So 4/10 is bigger than is greater than 0.3. Okay.
Oh, this is
Remember that when we're reading a number line, we have to read it just like we read a text left to right, and left to right meaning that the numbers that are on the left are smaller than the numbers that are on the right.
right. I gotta find my notes. I got my notes. My notes is in my book somewhere from last semester.
Yep. Okay. Let's keep going.
Yes.
We got another example.
3, 3.
We have 0.09 and we have 1/10. 0.09 and we have 1/10.
What is that?
It's at the bottom of the second page.
Okay.
It's the example, 0.09 and 1/10. So we have a weird number line. This one is going vertically.
Man.
So we have 0.09 and 1/10. So again, one of the ways to figure out the size of my decimal is to figure out another way to read it. So where is this 9? What place value is this 9 in? We know that the 0 right here is in the 10th place. What's after tenths? What's this place after?
Hundreds.
Hundredths. Good. So if that's the hundredths place, I can read this as 9 hundredths,
Hundreds.
right? That should already tell you that this is smaller than this, because what is this? How do I read this?
1/10.
1/10, right? 1/10, all right? A tenth is definitely bigger than any hundredth, right? So that's one thing that I already know, that this is bigger than that. But if this is 9 hundredths, that means I can write it as a fraction as 9 over 100. So that's my new fraction. I can see that this fraction is definitely smaller than this fraction out of 10. If I have a pizza, I want it cut into 10 pieces and not 100 pieces, right? I'm not trying to share 100 pieces with people, right? I want to share only 10 pieces, probably less even if I'm hungry, right? I'm not trying to share anything. But 1 out of 10 is a much bigger slice than 9 out of 100. It's not a much bigger slice. It's actually just really, just a little bit bigger, but it's still bigger, okay? So 9 hundredths, right, is definitely smaller than 1/10. So we know that 1/10 is greater than 9 hundredths, okay? All right, so now we have a vertical number line. So how do we read a vertical number line? We know how to read one left to right, right? Left to right, the numbers that are smaller on the left compared to the right. What about up and down? How do we read it up and down? Where are the smaller numbers? Are they at the bottom or at the top?
The top.
The top are the smaller numbers or the bigger numbers?
The top is the biggest.
Top is the smallest.
Top are bigger numbers.
The biggest.
Again, because it's 0.5.
Right, these are the bigger numbers and these are my
Smaller.
numbers. Good. Okay, so 1/10, right? 0.5 we know is 1/2, or also 5/10, right? So this is bigger than the 1/10. So 1/10 is going to be somewhere down here. So if we have 5/10, let's go ahead and put in 1/10. 1/10 has got to be somewhere down here, right? Closer to the 0, but not totally at the 0. We're going to put 1/10 right here.
How you do that?
How do I do what?
Oh, you're using a pencil. Where the pencil at?
I have a pencil.
I know, but where you get the pencil for the Cami?
Okay, let me show you. Let me pause. Well, wait, let me finish this example, then I'll show you real quick. Because if I move it, it's going to delete everything. So yeah, so my 1/10 goes right here. And I know that 1/10 is bigger than 9 hundredths, right? So that means my 900 needs to go in between my 0 and my 1/10. So I just put the 9 hundredths right here. It doesn't have to be exact because we're just making an approximation to show which one is bigger and which one is smaller, okay? That's how we're plotting these numbers and comparing them using number lines. All right, let me take my mouse. Let me show to Shell how to do that in Kami. Gotta make sure
I want to be able to write like that so I can see.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. All right, so it's not gonna work exactly the same, but there is a drawing feature in Kami. All right, so let me do a
Because I'm on the text and I'm just writing it out like
I got you.
regular.
All right, sorry, I gotta make my screen bigger because it's very small for me right now. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm on now, text.
Okay, so you can go from text, go down two places to drawing.
One.
Is that drawing?
Uh-huh.
Great, and so then you can choose the color that you want to draw with, and it gives you a free form pen to kind of use. And so when I want to do a mark, I use I just stroke down. I just press down, like I click and
Oh, I see.
my finger. Yep, I just click and move my finger to draw. Does that make sense?
I'm trying.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder because I have an actual pen to use, but when you use your hand, what you can do is, you just click and draw.
I gotta erase that. I know how to erase. I don't know how to. Oh.
Yeah, so and you erase it, or you can also do just like the undo, which I think is up here.
No.
So if I want to draw it like I just did on this other one, I just make my line.
Right.
And do 1/10.
Okay.
And then I can do
my line a little bit crooked, but I got it.
Yeah, your line's gonna be a little bit crooked, but yeah.
I got it, Mr. G. Thank you.
No problem. That's what we're here for. We got to learn how to use these tools, man, because you can't use them.
Why? Because I wasn't using this at all. I'm computer savvy, but not like this.
Oh yeah.
This
is a whole new level. This is 2020, Tashelle. This is 2020. Okay. All right, so we compared that one. All right. So using a number line is just one way to compare your rational numbers, your decimals and your fractions. All right. The other way that we compare is just by using our symbols. Everybody remembers our wonderful comparison symbols, right? Less than, greater than, equal.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can also use those for comparison. So we're going to go and take a look at that. I don't know. I'm sharing the right thing. Okay. All right. So we are under that example. We're going to use conversion and place value to compare rational numbers. All right. So how do we compare 0.65 and 3/5? Right? How do we compare them? Well, we can't compare them when they're separate like that. I mean, maybe you can. Maybe you already know which one is bigger, right? Because you've done this before. Maybe you're just like very comfortable. But it's always easier to compare them either both as decimals or both as fractions, okay? So that's how you're going to compare. So what do we want to do first? Do we want them to do them both as decimals or both as fractions? You tell me. We're going to do both, but I just want to know which one. Where do we start? Both as decimals or both as fractions?
I think fraction is better.
Okay, let's do them both as fractions. So we already have 3/5, right? So this one stays. That one stays as a fraction. How do we convert 0.65 into a fraction? What do we need to do? We've done it already twice today.
Division.
No. What did I do when I tried to turn a decimal into a fraction? What do I have to do first?
Move the decimal.
I have to name it. I have to name the decimal. So what place?
Oh.
What place?
In the hundreds.
The 5 is in the hundreds place, right? So that means I just do 65 over 100. That's the first step. That's all I really have to do to turn a decimal into a fraction is name it first. So figure out where the last digit is, what place value it is, and then put it over that place value. So 65 over 100. That's the first step. My next step is going to be to reduce the fraction. So what number, what factor is the highest factor that both 65 and 100 share?
10.
Not 10, because it ends in 5, so it's not 10.
Oh,
What number is it? Because it
15.
ends in 5, what number is it? No, not 15. Because it ends in 5, what number is it?
5.
5. Right? We can reduce both 65 and 5 and 100 by 5. How many times does 5 go into 65? Well, 5 goes into 6 once.
Yeah.
And then I have 15 left. 5 goes into 15 3 times. So I have 13. How many times does 5 go into 100? Well, 5 goes into 10
13.
twice. And 5 goes into 0 0 times. So this is my fraction, 13 over 20. Okay? So again, your steps for converting a decimal into a fraction, you have to name it. Okay, you name it, so then you put it over that place value, and then you reduce it. Okay, and we're going to be working through this a couple times, but this is how you know it. You name it and reduce it to turn a decimal into a fraction. So I have 65 over 100, and then I reduced it by 5. I get 13 over 20. Okay, so now we have
Got
this
it.
fraction. All right, I'm putting the fraction down here in the fraction section. You can also do the same. Okay, so now I have 13 over 20. Okay, so I have my two fractions, 13 over 20 and 3 over 5. All right, I still don't know which one is bigger. How do I compare them? Now what do I do to compare them? How do I compare two fractions?
Yeah, cross multiply.
Look at this genius from last term remembering how to do this. Good. When you compare in order to compare two fractions, all you do is you cross multiply, okay? So always go from bottom to top because that's gonna help you, all right? Because when I go from the bottom to the top, I do 20 times 3. What's 20 times 3?
60.
60, good. All right, and now I have to do from the bottom to the top again. What's 5 times 13? That one's a little bit more difficult, but we have it, it's 65. Okay, 5 times 13 is 65. So these numbers, this one on the left and then this one on the right, corresponds to the fractions on the left and the right. The value of 13 over 20 is 65. The value of 3 over 5 is 60. Which number is bigger, 65 or 60?
65.
65. That means that 13 over 20 is greater than 3 over 5. So 13 over 20 is greater than 3 over 5. Okay? So we compare fractions by cross multiplying. Okay, so you cross multiply to compare fractions. Okay, and again, this is being recorded, so you can always play this back for yourself anytime you need to see it again. If you want to review it with yourself, it's always a good idea to review these topics. All right, that's why we're doing this review now. These whole first few weeks of this class should be a review of things you may have seen before or have not maybe seen in a while, but these are all things that we're going to be working through, okay, together. So we cross multiply to compare fractions. So 5 times 13 gives me 65. 65 is the value of the fraction on the left. 20 times 3 gives me 60. 60 is the value of the fraction on the right. Because 65 is bigger than 60, I know that 13 over 20 is greater than 3 over 5. Okay?
I can't use this thing right here, this drawing mask. Mm-mm.
Can't?
No, it's taking up. I can't even make a 5. I was going okay at first. Then now I gotta go back to the text.
That's fine if you haven't seen it at all. You can still learn it, right? You're still learning it now. Yeah.
I'm just writing on my paper anyway. I can't no see. I can't do that.
Okay. So now that we have we've learned how to compare them when they're both fractions. Now we need to compare them when they're both decimals. So I'm going to erase everything that's on here. And we're going
Oh,
to,
man, hold on, Mr. G.
nope, can't do it. Can't hold on, I'm just kidding. So before, yeah, I am going to erase it all, but what we're going to do now is we're going to turn 3/5 into a decimal. So how do we turn a fraction into a decimal?
Dividing.
Just by dividing. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Another reminder I have for you guys is don't just do your notes with me. Make sure you guys are reading your notes after we do them, right? Your notes are really something that you should try to internalize as much as possible. I don't want you to remember every sentence in every note or anything like that. But remember that by practicing, by reading through these notes, it's something that will help you in your future. You have to know a lot of these things in order to be successful on your GED exam. And we should be comfortable with fractions and decimals at this point because fractions and decimals are a very essential skill that we have to learn. We have to know what a fraction is, we have to know what a decimal is, we have to know what our place values are. So those are all notes that you guys have from the last 2 weeks. What a decimal is, what the place value is, make sure you keep referring to those things. Okay, I'm going to erase these. And we're going to change 3/5 into a decimal. Okay. So 3/5. All right, so 3/5 is a fraction, and we're going to change this fraction into a decimal. You change a fraction into a decimal by dividing the numerator by the denominator. So I do 5 into 3. 5 cannot go into 3 because 5 is bigger than 3. So I have to add a decimal and a 0. And now I can do 5 into 30. How many times does 5 go into 30?
6.
6 times. So my decimal value of 3/5 is just 0.6. Okay? So as we can see, it's actually easier to compare decimals to decimals than it is to compare fractions to fractions sometimes. In this case, 0.65 is obviously bigger than 0.6. Okay? But we already knew that this was bigger than that, right? We already knew that. So 0.65 is greater than 3/5. We know that 0.65 is greater than 3/5. So whichever way works for you, but whenever you have a decimal and a fraction, the only way to really compare them truly is to convert one to the other and then do your comparison. So either they need to both be decimals or they need to both be fractions. All right, you always have 2 choices. As your note says, you have 2 choices. You can compare the values as decimals or compare the values as fractions. Either way, you will have to do some conversions. And remember, decimals and fractions can have the same value, but in a different form. Okay? So either way, you have the choice to compare them, all right? I love working with fractions because fractions are a really big favorite of mine. But if you're more comfortable with decimals, work with decimals because it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward to convert a fraction to a decimal. From a fraction, all you have to do is divide, okay? You divide the numerator by the denominator.
Denominator.
All right, are there questions about this?
6, 3, 2, 3, 2,
Okay.
okay.
Are you still copying stuff down to show?
Yes.
Okay.
Just, 1 second. I
Yeah,
want to
that's fine. I just wanted to make sure because I was going to move it, so I didn't want to. Yeah. Just checking.
Yes. And here is 5. We use what divide of this. 5 divide 3, 0. Up top is 0.6. Let's see if I put a line right here or something. Then I'll draw a line. Draw a line for this, for division. Oh, I can do that. Okay. Division. Okay. Easy. Text. Yeah. 0.65 is greater than 3/5. Go back to drawing. It's greater than 3 over 3 over 5. Okay. 6. Okay, Mr. G.
Okay. All right, y'all. So we're just going to scroll down. We're going to continue on. All right, this is just showing us our comparisons again, which I already went through with you guys. All right. So we did all of those comparisons. It showed us how to do exactly what we already did. Okay. All right. I'm going to take my mouse. I'm going to clear these drawings. All right. So we're going to try it again. All right. This time we're working with 0.25 and 6/10. So we're going to do it. We're going to do this one together. Let me see. Wait, are we? No, we are not going to do this one together because there's only 3 examples. And since there are 3 of you in class,
Oh, man.
I'm going to have each of you do one. I'm going to let Jules do the first one. Tashelle, you'll do the second one. And Antoinette, you'll do the last one, number 3. So we're going to start up here. And you guys, and Jules, you can decide if you want to make them both decimals or make them both fractions, however you want to do it. I'll give you guys a few minutes to work on your own, and then we'll come back together to talk about how we got the answers, okay? So work on it on your own, 1, 2, or 3, depending on which one you guys are working with. Make them both decimals or make them both fractions, and then compare, all right? So try it, because I want you guys to really get used to it. So try it, and then we'll come back together. I'll give you 3 minutes.
Oh man, that's too big. Something ain't right.
All right, all right, all right. Let's see. We'll see what we got done. And we'll work through it together. If we still have questions, that's okay. We only have about 15 minutes left, so I want to make sure we get to all three of these examples, and we'll finish the rest of the notes if we need to on Wednesday. Okay, so Jules, what did you choose? Did you choose decimals or fractions to do your comparison?
Okay, I chose this fraction because
Okay.
I'm comfortable with fraction. The first thing to do is the first thing to do.
Yep.
The first thing I do is to convert 0.25
Yep.
to a fraction.
Good.
I know that 0.25 is 25 hundredths.
25 100ths, perfect. Good.
And now I reduce.
Mhm.
When I reduce 25 hundredths, I got one quarter.
Very good. Both of these are divisible by 25. 25 into 25 gives me 1. 25 into 100 gives me 4. Good. So now I have 1/4 and 6/10. Okay, good.
Now I reduce 6/10 too.
Okay, good.
I reduce 6/10 by 2.
Okay,
By 2 is a 3/5.
good. 3/5.
Okay.
Good. You have 1/4 and 3/5. Good.
Now to make the comparison,
Yep.
I do 1 multiplied by 5.
Good.
It's 5.
Uh-huh.
And 3 multiplied by 4.
Uh-huh.
12.
12. Good.
12 is greater than 5.
Very good. So we have
That's-
1/4 is less than
Yeah.
3/5.
Yeah.
Or you can say 0.25 is less than 6/10, right? Good. Good work. Okay. I saw somebody chat something. Let's see. All right, great. Well, we'll work through it together. Antoinette, if you don't understand it, why haven't you been asking questions? I keep pausing to ask if you have questions. Make sure you ask questions. That's how we understand things, by asking questions. You can't sit quiet and not say anything if you have a question, okay? All right, so we're gonna work through it together then. All right. That is that one. I wanna make sure you guys have copied down the steps here before we move on to show. So you still have a minute to show as I'm waiting to make sure everybody has everything copied down before I move on.
Oh God.
All right, everybody have everything?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
3 minutes. Okay.
Okay. Let's try this next one. I'm gonna move up my screen. Okay, so to show, it's all you. What did you do? We have fraction
Oh,
and
no.
decimal. Did you do fractions or decimals? Which one are you gonna compare? Are you gonna turn them both into fractions or both into decimals? What did you
I
do?
turned to the decimal.
Okay. So if you turn it into a decimal, it means you're gonna keep this one, right? You're gonna keep 0.45, but you're gonna change 8/20 into a decimal. How do you do that?
You got to divide.
Okay, I'm gonna divide. What's gonna be on the outside? What's gonna be on the inside?
The 20,
Is on the outside, okay? What's on the inside then?
the 8,
Okay. I can't divide 8 by 20, right? It's too small. So what do I have to do?
0.0,
Okay, add a decimal and a
decimal
0.
top.
All right, so now what's 80 divided by 20?
4,
4.
0.4.
All right, that's it, right? So
Mhm.
0.4 and 0.45, right? Which
45.
one is bigger?
0.45.
That's it, you're done, right?
Yeah.
That's it. What were you upset about?
I don't know.
That's it.
Just doing too much like I always do.
Yeah, probably, right? And that's why it's important to talk it out. And this is why I'm giving you guys this time. So like whenever we're here, this is your time, right? This isn't my time, right? This is not Mr. G's time. Mr. G knows how to do this already, right? This is your time to learn how to do it. So when we're comparing these numbers and I give you the task to do it yourself, it's not because I'm trying to punish you, right? It's really because I'm really just trying to figure out what we know and what we don't know. And if you just walk yourself through it, you'll see that you know a lot more than you think you do. When you're like, oh, I don't know how to do this. Wait, did I just do this? Okay, that's all it is to that. That's it. That's the right answer. So we just have to choose what we're going to compare it to. First, are we going to do decimals? Are we going to do fractions? Make them the same thing, and then compare them. Which one is bigger? Okay. All right. So that's to Shells. All right, Antoinette, you're up. What are we doing? Are we doing decimals or fractions? Are we going to make them both decimals? Or are we going to make them both fractions? So we have to compare them by making them the same. So do we want to make them both decimals or both fractions?
Yeah, I think you're going to make both of them fractions.
Okay. Remember, this is whatever you want to work with, because either way it's going to work. So it's not a choice you have to make necessarily about what you think is going to work. They will both work. So which one is easier for you? Do you want to make them both decimals or both fractions?
I'd rather make them both fractions.
Okay, great. So that means we're going to keep this one. We're going to keep 5/10. That's already good, right? So now how do we make 0.09 into a fraction?
This is the part where I get lost at because I don't know the I can't remember the steps how to do the decimal part.
Okay, so to turn a decimal into a fraction, the first step to turn a decimal into a fraction is to name it. So what is the name of this decimal? What place is the 9 in? What place value is the 9 in?
Is it in the tens?
So
Or the one?
The ones is before the decimal, right? And that means so are the tens and everything else. Right after the decimal, the place after the decimal is the 10th place, right? And then 2 places after the decimal is the 100th place. So remember, this is something, so we're gonna switch from this screen and I'm gonna share your classroom screen for a second.
What?
I'm switching the screen for a second. We're gonna go back into Schoology. All right, so if we go into Schoology for week 1, everybody can see my Schoology page, right? Yeah. So in your note, in your notes for week 1, if you guys will remember, I just wanted to show you that when in my understanding decimals notes, I put your place values in, right? This is your place value chart. So if you need a place value chart, know that you already have one, right? It's in your notes from the first week. And you can see that after the decimal point, the first place after the decimal point is the 10th place, but the second place after the decimal point is the 100th place, okay?
Okay.
So that 9 is actually in the 100th place. All right, so now let's go back to that assignment. 1 second. Okay, so let's go back. So now we're back here. We can see that that 9 is in the 100th place, okay? So that means that if we turn that into a fraction, because this is 9/100ths, that's what we write. You just write 9 over 100. Now it's a fraction. That's it. Okay.
Okay. I get it. I can just use that chart. Okay.
Right. Use the chart and then put the number in the place that it's in. Right. So it's a 100th place. So that's what we have as the fraction. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Okay.
All right. So the first step is to name it, and then the second step is to reduce it. In this case, though, we can't reduce that fraction because nothing that goes into 9 goes into 100 evenly, right? Because the only thing that goes into 9 is 3 or 9, and neither of those go into 100 evenly. So this is it. This is your fraction. You don't have to reduce it at all. So now you have your 2 fractions, 5 over 10 and 9 over 100. So now how do we compare them, Antoinette? How do we compare 2 fractions?
Would you divide?
Yeah.
You divide?
Nope, to compare 2 fractions. So when we have two fractions and we want to compare them.
Cross multiply.
Yeah, all we do is cross multiply. So we start from the bottom and then go up across. So what's 10 times 9?
Yeah, I can't see the bottom of the screen.
Okay, so if you have something in the way, like if the pictures are there, grab them and move them to the other side.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, good.
10,
All right, so now
10,
what's 10 times 9?
90,
Perfect. And now what's 100 times 5?
500,
Perfect. So which one is bigger, 500 or 90?
500.
500 is bigger, right? That means the fraction on the left is bigger. So that means 5/10 is greater than 9/100. Or to go back to your original problem, 5/10 is greater than 0.09.
Nah.
Oh, I can't do this. Okay.
I told you you could. Listen, y'all, just ask me questions. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to make you feel bad. Okay? Like, I'm really.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so make sure you guys write these down, write down these notes. We still have about a page and a half left of notes to do, and we will do those on Wednesday. Okay? Are there any questions I can answer right now?
Mr. G,
Yes.
can you send me, is there any way you could send me the chart to my email
Sure.
so I could send it to my mother, she could print it out for me?
Absolutely.
I need my notes, like the notes like that. Can you email those to me so I can send them to my mom so she could print them out? Because I need to look at it. I can't go back and forth. I ain't that computer savvy.
So we mean just the place value notes is what you mean?
Just that.
Okay, I can email that to you.
Because I don't think I have those in my notes from last semester.
Okay, no worries. I can send that to you.
And the number line chart,
Okay.
the negative.
Mhm.
Yes. If you could send that to me, I
can
just
send
gotta
that
go
to you.
through my books and pull out my notes from last semester.
I got you. All right. So again, we will continue working on this on Wednesday. And if there's no more questions, we're done for the day, y'all.
Okay.
Remember at 1 o'clock, there is the town hall. So if you can't
Okay.
attend, please do attend at 1 o'clock. All right?
Hey,
Okay.
Mr. G,
Yes, Antoinette.
you know how like you did the notes right here with the writing?
Yeah.
Is it gonna be on the video?
Yes, it'll be on the video. Yep. Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
I got one question, please.
Yes, go ahead.
I can't attend the town hall at 1 p.m. I got doctor appointment.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
Okay.
That's totally fine. It's okay.
Okay.
All right. All right, y'all. Have a great day.
Okay. Thank you.